My mother-in-law, who loves a bargain, was poking around a central Maine thrift store recently when she heard someone say, "We should get that for Mary. She really likes the Beatles." But the shoppers moved on without picking up the item, and so my mother-in-law went over and took a look. What she found was a framed photograph of the Beatles. She did not recognize the image. However, she was aware of the collectability of Beatles memorabilia, and she purchased the photo for $5. Designed by Peter Blake and photographed by Michael Cooper, the image has become known as People We Like. The grouping consisted of wax figures borrowed from Madame Tussauds and cardboard cutouts representing more than 70 writers, musicians, film stars, and other famous people. Some of the individuals depicted included Mae West, Lenny Bruce, W.C. Fields, Fred Astaire, Bob Dylan, Sigmund Freud, Marilyn Monroe, H.G. Wells, Tony Curtis, and Shirley Temple. There was an urban legend around at the time of the album release that posited that Paul McCartney had been killed in a car accident in 1966 and replaced with a look-alike. The legend gained credibility with some fans when it was said that the clues could be found on the Sgt. Pepper album cover, including among dozens a bloody driving glove near the Shirley Temple doll, the hand over Paul's head as if he was being blessed, and the fact that Paul was the only one holding a black instrument. When found, the photograph was in its original frame with a vintage label from a framing shop in Gramercy Park, which is very near Greenwich Village in New York City. It is a little-known fact that when John Lennon and Yoko Ono moved to New York in 1971, they rented an apartment at 105 Bank Street in Greenwich Village from Joe Butler, a member of the Lovin' Spoonful. They moved across town to the Dakota in 1973, and John was murdered in front of the building by a deranged fan in 1980. The photograph, which measures 18 3/4 inches by 15 1/8 inch, is a vintage print of the image that was used to create the album cover for the Beatles' album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Perhaps one of the most iconic 20th century images. The album won 4 Grammy Awards in 1968, including Best Album and Best Album Cover. In 2003, Rolling Stone magazine made it #1 on their list of 500 greatest albums of all time. There are some interesting differences between this image and the edited image that was used for the cover. Bowery boy Leo Gorcey wanted a fee for the use of his image, so his image, which was the 4th figure from the right on the top row, was removed. Mohandas Gandhi had also been included in the 2nd row, just to the right of Lewis Carroll and just above actress Diana Dors. However, EMI, the parent company that produced Sgt. Pepper, had an office in India and did not want to offend the Indian people, so Gandhi's image was removed. The figure in the monochrome costume on the far right in our photograph was cropped out for the final image. This figure, which is believed to have been a wax figure from Tussauds, has never been identified. We have spent hours researching this image, and we have not been able to find another vintage print of this image anywhere, for sale or otherwise. The photograph was taken to a Skinner's appraisal event last summer and was appraised for between $3,000 and $4,000. The photograph is slated to be sold on eBay under username Dragon's Breath 9493 near the end of October 2010.